We want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the interviews and features editor of Louder Than War magazine, Mr. Nigel Carr. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello. How you doing? Thanks, Jimmy. Hi, Ron. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
See, he knew your name and we didn't even introduce you yet.
That's because I'm famous and you are not.
Okay, so let me do our introductions, going all the way around. First with our cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hey, how did they pronounce your name? In England, it's Carr.
Carr, yeah.
Well, Deborah Carr, okay?
Well, it existed way before cars existed, so it's just Carr.
No, but
she's Deborah Kerr.
No, she's not. I was going there.
Oh.
You know the actress Deborah Carr?
Of course, we might be related. You don't know.
Okay, right. Well, in America, they pronounce it Deborah Kerr.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Now, mine's pronounced Carr, but I guess we all go back to some single family in Scotland from 500 years ago or something, you know?
So when you come to the States to perform, they're going to call you
He
Nigel.
doesn't perform, though.
Why doesn't he perform? What does he do? Just here for nothing? He's just going to sit here and talk?
I could swim and tap dance for you.
He does all kinds of things, but he's the features and interviews editor for Louder Than War. It's like Rolling Stone. It's one of the biggest music magazines in the world.
Oh, you're like
so
us.
he's not the actual performer. He's the one who critiques the performers and says, you're shit.
Well, getting back to my stupid point, in this country, you will be called Nigel Carr.
Okay,
Period.
well, I don't care. I'm quite happy to accept that.
There you go. Then we got the man behind the boards. He's in Florida. It's nice and warm there. We got the fabulously talented Chad Murphy.
Mr. Carr, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good to have you.
So oops.
And then we have so many.
I used up all my Fs, they said. I can't use any more Fs. I used too many today.
Okay, then we have a chat room full of people, so say hey to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, everybody in the chat room.
Somebody in there says you're so cute, and Eileen Shapiro's in there, so make sure you say hi to Eileen Shapiro.
Hi, Eileen. How you doing? Thank you.
There you go.
You know her too?
Yes, that's how we met him.
Well, who hasn't had Eileen? Everybody's had her.
He just knows her. He didn't say he's had her.
Well, listen, in knowing her, you've had her. Come on. I know
my
my
over to England, but I missed her.
Oh, he didn't even get. So you haven't actually physically met her?
Well, no, she did come over and she did some dates with Ricky Rebel in London. And I think she came up to Liverpool as well, but we chat every day. And she's one of our special interviews writers, and she's just one of the best. She's done interviews with Adam Ant and Mike Garson and so many famous people. I mean, she's part of the Louder Than War team as well.
She just did one the other day with, what's it on the moon? Something on the moon?
Yeah, Walk on the Moon.
Walk on the Moon.
Right.
And they're so awesome.
That for her,
Well, there's no question about it. She is the breast. I mean, the best. The best.
I couldn't possibly comment.
You're the better, right?
Actually,
when you do meet her and you go to hug her or kiss her, forget about it. You never get your face in her. You can't. You got to climb on top of them, sit on them, and then hug and kiss them.
we actually have England, Canada, Germany, Estonia, the UK. We have people from like everywhere, represented now. So everybody's tuning in. Everybody's talking about how cute your smile is. So like you're developing a fan club already.
I'm going to charge money.
Yeah,
like $100, you get a picture from him smiling, and for $500, you get one of them naked. And that you get one of them naked with an erection.
Oh my God.
Actually, I read in his bio I think in his bio that he met his wife when he was 13 years old, and they're like married. Tell us about your wife. What is it like? You met when you were 13, and now you're like 20.
We met in December 1973, and Slade were #1 with Merry Xmas Everybody, and I kissed her at the school at this disco that we have in our town, and then I started going out with her on January the 11th the following year. So we're 44 years together, which is crazy.
That is so awesome. I have to say that's beautiful.
That's great. Jimmy and I have been together a long time. I was in Florida and I passed the maternity ward, and I picked him up and I took him with me. And we've been together since he grew up.
Brilliant.
I'm still not grown up. I love it.
So listen, what's love like at 40 years?
It's probably stronger than it was 40 years ago. So I've got 4 kids and grandkids as well. They're all running around, not here, but yeah, you know, it's a relationship.
I'm a little slow because I'm a little old, like very old. Like I was born when dirt was invented. But anyway, what exactly do you do?
I as well as being the features and interviews editor for Louder Than War, I also develop shoes. I have been doing that since I was a kid, since 19 years old. And
He's a shoe designer.
Yeah, designing and developing footwear. And I also have another company that does SEO, but that's boring, websites and things like that. The main passions are shoes and internet and writing about music. And, you know, I've been loving music since I was 12, 13 years old. I remember hearing Yellow Submarine on the radio when I was 6 years old and really singing that along. And that was probably my earliest memory of listening to music, you know. And then just being into it just solidly forever. Every time I wake up in the morning, I have a tune in my head. It's crazy if you're so dedicated and you love it so much.
Actually, go ahead.
There are people that I know that say exactly what you say.
Yeah.
They wake up with a tune. And these
Absolutely.
people are but these people are given that music while they're sleeping by an extraterrestrial.
That was Paul McCartney with Yesterday, if you remember
That's
the
right.
story, how that was written.
That's right. An extraterrestrial gave him that music and lyrics.
Landed on his shoulder, that's correct, while he was asleep.
See that? I'm not the only crazy bastard.
But that's if it was original.
Actually, I'm not sure who it is, but we had actually a member of Slade on our show before. Somebody who was a member at one of that during the time of whatever Slade.
Really? Well, Nobby Holder still lives around here near me. In fact, I did a pop quiz.
Steve Wally. We had Steve Wally on.
Oh right, I don't know that guy. He may be in the modern lineup.
Neither do I.
He was a guitar player. I don't know. He on the list. He's like in the middle of the list, so he's like somewhere in the middle of it. But we actually had him on. Slade's a great band, and I also read that you liked Joy Division. Like when I was when I first got out of college, I was in a fraternity. I had like a fraternity little brother, and
He was such a goodie too.
and his girlfriend. After his girlfriend dumped him, she started dating the guy from not when it was New Order, and so I got invited to a New Order concert and got to meet all of them, and it was like the most, because New Order to me, for that time frame, it's like one of the greatest like bands ever was New Order.
For me, if you ask me, you know, my favorite bands, New Order would definitely be in the top three. And it started in 1978 when I first saw Joy Division in my hometown. And they played a little club. There were probably 30 or 40 people. There were kids from my school there. And it was just an amazing experience. And who knew that they were going to be so big and influential, you know?
Absolutely.
Who are they?
Their name is Joy Division. Joy Division.
Oh, see, I know like the Blood, Sweat, and Tears. People like names like that.
Yeah, that's classic rock.
Look, today the names are ridiculous. We've had some people on this show with names that you wouldn't believe what their show is called, what their band is called.
Or the band's called.
Or We Can't Play a Note, or My Sister's Ass Made Better Noise Than My Band. I mean, stupid names, right?
Well,
Name some of the stupid names we've had on.
I can't think of them now.
I
I'm
could
trying to
think
do
of
them. But hold on.
More. We have a feature on the most ludicrous and outrageous band names ever, and some of them I can't even tell you because they're so rude.
Oh, I love them.
First of all, I want to do a plug though for it. So hold on first, because everybody knows, you know, there's like, if you go on the internet and you look for like music publications and pop culture publications, you know, there's probably like 5 million of them on the internet, literally. Yeah. And Louder Than War, when I say like Louder Than War is in the top 100 of all the music pop culture publications in the world. So out of the 5 million, they're in the top 100. So we're not like talking to somebody who has some little blog with 20 readers. You're talking to like about a really big
50.
deal.
I think we're actually 41. We're in the top 50. We're actually quite influential. But do you know the origin of the phrase "Louder Than War"?
No, tell us.
So Louder Than War, when the Manic Street Preachers were playing in Cuba for the very first time, it was one of the very few. I think it was the first Western group that was invited to play in Cuba, and they had an audience with Mr. Castro. And Nicky Wire, the guitarist, he went up to Castro and said, "Mr. Castro, you do realize we're very loud. We're a very loud band." And he said, "You cannot be louder than war." So that's where
my God!
This is where the name comes from.
What a charming man.
That's a cool story.
That's all he's got his mind on, war.
I think that's
maybe.
Cool.
Yeah.
So first of all, we actually had, I don't know if you remember, but
I remember nothing.
Remember when we had a guest on the show, and it was right when the bombings were in England, and he was sitting at a cafe down the street. That was John Robb. He's the one who owns Louder Than War.
That's correct.
Yeah. So they worked together.
I know him.
And we had a blast with him, too.
We had a lot of fun with him. He had something about his hair. Remember we did something about his hair? What was it that we were kidding around about his hair?
I don't remember, because he's like a punk rocker. So, like, do you listen to a lot of punk rock? Yes. Do you listen to a lot of punk rock or no?
I do, because there's a lot of modern punk rock around now, like Sleaford Mods and Idols, Blinders, a lot of bands coming out of Manchester who've embraced sort of a new twist on punk rock, really. Slapback surf guitar, sort of wonky lyrics. You know, there's a real upsurge now bursting out of Manchester with what I can only describe as modern punk rock. So yes, I do. I listen to the old stuff from the Pistols back in the day.
Good for you.
It's about now.
Can I say something so I sound like I'm with you guys? I have to give a plug to Eileen Shapiro's love slave, Sam. What's Sam's last name?
Sam Stevens.
Sam Stevens. You've got to come to America to listen to Sam Stevens perform. When is he performing?
February 13th.
Where?
Boxers, New York City.
Boxers in New York City.
I got to come over, haven't I?
Sam right now is running around London collecting soda bottles because he's going to return them. And with the deposit money, he's buying an airline ticket to get here. So
I used to get a penny on every bottle.
Right. I hope he gets here in time. If
Really?
not, maybe, Eileen, being that he's her sex slave, she may just, command that he get on a plane, like underneath the wheel. No, underneath the wheels, where the wheels go up. He can lay comfortably over the wheels and fly to the United States.
There you go. So anyway, Sam Stevens is the singer for World 5.
Well, Christ, I can't speak English today. Sam Stevens, that's a tongue twister, has a record out. And
no, he doesn't yet.
Well, he will have a record out. And Eileen has. I want to sound like I'm in this friggin' conversation.
He's not really
And
punk.
Eileen Shapiro wrote this music while she was having sex with an entire band.
That's not true either.
The entire band was humming as they were screwing her. And she wrote the lyrics and the music, and Sam is now singing this song, and it's going to be a smash hit because the song is titled "I'm Coming."
We'll have to review it for her.
Do you know Tim Muddyman?
Well, I arranged the interview for Eileen last week or the week before. Yes, I do. Yeah,
he was on our show last week. We had him on the show last week. Oh, good.
I watched it.
What a cool guy.
And I can tease Eileen because I consider her my sister. I love and adore Eileen Shapiro to death.
So do you know Dave Barbarossa?
Well, I don't know him personally, but I was into Bow Wow Wow when I was younger. And there is a connection between Adam and the Ants, of course, and Bow Wow Wow because they were both kind of managed by Malcolm McLaren.
Yeah, Malcolm McLaren, yeah.
So there is a connection between those two guys.
I love it.
When were you into Bow Wow Wow?
But the guy from Bow Wow Wow is coming on next.
Oh, I thought he was into dogs.
No. He's probably got dogs too, though.
Well, when I get my cockapoo in 6 weeks' time, that's it.
Oh,
that's
a cockapoo.
A cockapoo. A cockapoo.
There's nothing wrong with having a cockatoo. I mean, nothing wrong with a cockapoo. That reminds of a story. My friend James Jessup, who's from England, was in Central Park with me. And we were walking around the Brambles, which is a very gay area. And there was a man and a woman with binoculars looking for birds. Well, I looked down the ravine into a cave tunnel, and I saw two men doing it. One on the floor. And I turned around and I said to the woman, if you look down there, you'll see a cockatoo. And my friend said, hysterical. Etiquette's just so funny. I said, yeah, you English is so dull. Jesus.
Let's go back, though. So first of all, you guys, if you have never heard of Louder Than War, you're missing out. You should. So you want to go to louderthanwar.com. They post new stuff on interviews on famous bands, up-and-coming bands. I thought we'd give a plug since you have this one band that you mentioned a bunch of times in your bio. You mentioned the Blinders, and you mentioned them a bunch. And they must be somebody really cool, so let's give them a little plug. Tell everybody about the Blinders.
The Blinders are a three-piece from Doncaster. Doncaster is in South Yorkshire, so it's about 70 or 80 miles southeast of Manchester. They all study in Manchester at the university.
Chad, what happened?
We got a lock. Oh, he's back.
They're back.
There you go.
Oh, sorry. So they have something truly, truly unique, and their song "Brave New World" is stunning. And they're in the studio at the moment with Gavin Moynihan at Magic Garden Studios recording an album. And if you haven't heard of them, they're on Spotify. They're stunning new music. So I love
everybody check out the Blinders. And then we talked about you being a shoe designer, because I used to be a clothing designer, actually. I dressed all kinds of famous people. And so let's give a little plug, because I actually went and looked at the shoes that you designed. They're very nice. And you guys, the name of the company is called LSQ Shoes, and you can go to www.lsqshoes.co.uk. Let you know it's a UK site, and see the shoes that you have put together. And so you only do men's, right?
Well, I used to do ladies' shoes a long time ago. I've been developing shoes for a long time, but this collection is mainly men's shoes. I was a shoe buyer for a chain of shops for 10 years. So
will I like your shoes?
Actually, you will.
I don't know.
And how are you?
I've got some really nice.
How are you priced?
They're about $200, £160 a pair.
Oh,
so they're not the cheapest, but they're very, very nice. You know, blue suede shoes with crepe soles, and you know, really quite.
$200. I can go to Pick and Save and get 12 pair of shoes.
You get 10 pairs of shoes for that. Come on.
12. If you buy 10, you get 2 free.
You guys should definitely check them out, though, because the shoes are really nice.
And they're 100% vinyl. Guaranteed vinyl.
Also, too, you guys, he didn't really talk much, but he has a small digital marketing company called Carousel Projects. It's www.carouselprojects.co.uk. I hate that in the UK you guys have to have those .co.uk's.
Well, there is the .uk. They were trying to bring in a .uk about 2-3 years ago, but most people still stick with the .co.uk's. It's crazy, I know. You know, but for you, you know, you should just have .us. But you claimed the .com about 20 years ago or 25.
I like .com. It's just easy to remember.
It is, yeah, totally.
Go to a different subject. Do you go to the films?
Sometimes I go to the films. Yeah, I've not seen the new Star Wars.
Have you seen Churchill yet?
No, the Gary Oldman film. It's just come out.
Yes. I wanted an opinion from an English friend if they thought there was any credence to how Churchill behaved, which I believe the film was pretty accurate. Go see it. His performance is beyond belief.
I believe he's going to get an Oscar.
Academy Award winner. He's going
to get an Oscar.
Winner. I mean, I sat there and I couldn't believe who it was. I thought it was Churchill.
They must have really great prosthetics, right?
7 hours.
Yeah, great.
6 to 7 hours of applications,
because they have to make him fat and bald,
of rubber, and they recreated Churchill's fat face. No, it's amazing.
I've seen clips and trailers, but you know, Gary Oldman is such an amazing actor.
Yes, he is. Go see the film. Everyone out there that's listening, I loved it. Jimmy loved it. It's a little intelligent. So if you're stupid and you just want to see people beating each other up karate style or cars exploding in the air, don't go see the film. No. You have to really think when you go see the film. It's like
you know, he was in Leon. I don't know if you remember Leon. That was a fantastic film. Was it Jean Reno? Just amazing.
Yeah, good film.
His voice, his church. I mean, I was around. No, I wasn't really. I was alive when Churchill was out there, but I was too little to know what was going on. Yeah. But I remember the film of Churchill.
All right, so we've got like 5 minutes, so let's go. How about this? So since you're in the music biz, if you could have interviewed, because anybody who would be like on your bucket list of like, okay, this is who I want to interview.
Let me tell you, I went to see Alice Cooper before Christmas, right, at the end of November, and I was trying to. I thought I must interview this guy. You know, I've been into Alice Cooper since I was a small child. The first album I ever bought was Killer by Alice Cooper. I bought it in Spain. It was called Asesino, and I remembered it so well. I went to lined up the gig, and I got the date wrong, and I was trying to line up an interview with Alice Cooper, and I would love to interview Alice Cooper, and if he comes to England again, I'm going to line it up for myself.
You should be able to do that. Yeah, he's cool. I had a clothing store in Florida, and it had a coffee shop next door, and like he used to go in there when he was in Fort Lauderdale and get coffee. So we just walked over and met him and talked to him, but he was really nice.
But he's been so influential, you know.
I've seen him. I've never spoken to him. I saw this weird-looking guy, very weird, and I made a remark to one of my friends, and he said, "Oh my God, it's Alice Cooper." And I said, "Oh, is he a drag queen?" He said, "No." I said, "What's his name? Alice."
Yeah.
You know, Alice is a woman's name in this country. And he looked like a drag queen. He had skinny, ugly, weird, crazy makeup, long, stringy hair. Yeah. He looked like a praying mantis. You know what a praying mantis is?
Absolutely, yeah.
Praying mantis?
A praying mantis, yeah.
Mantis.
Johnny Mantis, yeah.
No, praying mantis. Oh, that's his favorite singer is Johnny Mathis.
Well, Mary's boy child and all that. He's 69 years old. You know, I want to see him again.
Who's 69?
Alice Cooper.
Oh, Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
She got old. She's old now, 69.
You know what? You work for Louder and More. You should be able to like contact his agent and just say, "Hey, I want to like do an interview," and they should just say,
"Should be so lucky."
We've got to the stage now where we can pretty much interview anybody. Judas Priest contacted us today because they wanted an interview arranging for London, so I arranged an interview with Judas Priest. So really, because Louder Than More is getting bigger and bigger, we're getting more influential, and bands are coming to us. So, you know, we're very busy with our day jobs and everything else, but we're finding that the caliber, the size, not the caliber, but the size of the bands are getting bigger that are prepared or want to have the exposure through the Louder Than More site, and that's really quite exciting.
Did you see the movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg about Judas? That's the movie about Judas Priest, because like we actually had the guy who replaced Rob Halford for all those years until he came back. We had him on the show many years ago.
Oh, did you?
And he was telling us how the movie, you know, is loosely based on the story of Judas Priest. Yeah. And but he was a really cool guy, and man, he can really sing. I forgot his name's Tim something. Now I don't even remember.
Well, you know what's happened with Eileen Shapiro. We just spoke about this the other day. No, serious, no joke on this one.
Yeah.
People are calling her saying, "Hello, my name is Joe Schmo. Interview me." Yeah. I mean, they added them. Like Eileen said, "Who the fuck? Who are these people?"
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. They're not famous. I don't. And they have the audacity to want her to interview them. Yeah. Well, same thing with me. I get people that say, "Oh, can I be on the show? Can you interview me?" I said, "Why? What do you do?" "Oh, well, I'm a mechanic at Joe Blow's garage." I said, good for you. Have a good day.
Actually, it was Tim Ripper Owens. Tim Ripper Owens replaced Rob Halford when Rob Halford was.
Yeah.
And that's the guy we had on. And that movie, Rockstar, the whole movie's not good, but you have to watch like the first hour of it when he auditions to become the singer. It's really good. Okay. I watched just that part over and over. It's really good.
2 films I got to see, Churchill and this one.
That's right, Churchill and Rockstar. You'll love it.
You know, it's important to give the small guys a leg up. You know, that's why I interview so many small bands in and around Manchester, and it's important. And over in Liverpool as well, like Psycho Comedy, the Vril Society. You know, it's important to get those people up and noticed.
Absolutely.
And there are so many bands that need that now. You know.
Absolutely. And actually, the fact that your publication actually like does that too, a big publication that does it, is really cool.
You know, not to be mean, and I'm never mean, honestly. But when I did lectures, I saw a kid in front of me was looking dazed and stupid. And I said to him, "Do you know who Barbra Streisand is?" He said, "No, but I've heard of her." So now, do you think that Alice Cooper may have been a bit in the past? If you ask some young people today who's Alice Cooper, they're not going to know. So he should.
Yeah, well, they do, Ron, because they've got those video games. You know?
In England, but not here. Here there is. But is differently, like Italy. Italy opera is brand new. They could see La Tosca 50 times for 300 years, and it's new. It never gets old. Same thing in England. Rock music in England never gets old. This country, disposable. Everything is disposable.
That's a shame. You know, my kids, they knew about Alice Cooper and they knew about Slade because they've been playing that Rockstar game on the computer.
Your culture is so different than ours. In Italy, they educate. They talk about who the singers were, the music, the great composers of symphony music. Here, they don't do that. Here they say, "Oh, that's like yesterday, man. Like, who's Peggy Lee? Who cares? Who's Ella Fitzgerald? Who cares? They don't know about jazz."
Actually, what do you see? Like,
wait a minute. And the greatest performers in jazz, we've got to educate this country's young people about music. Music.
I agree.
Not only today. Music is not now. Music is since the beginning.
Yeah, all embracing.
My speech. Right? Don't you agree?
We do retro features. We do features on bands, you know, and they will cover a career or a re-release of albums, you know.
In Europe, Tina Turner gets millions of people at her arenas. I mean, you can't believe the people Tina Turner
Actually, the chat
gets.
room's saying everybody knows Alice Cooper.
No.
But you're saying that you have a point in general.
I'm talking about young people that are high school age. They don't know. They may have heard the name, but they're not familiar with the music. Our chat room, we have all old bags in there, mostly of people our age. You know, we don't have
we know it.
We don't have 17-year-olds in there. What I'm trying to say is we should have music classes in school teaching you that rock and roll was a period of time when great music was written and respected as a period of. Listen, I'm 77 years old. I have music since 1945 that I remember. Look how many generations of music I have long.
Sinatra.
Thank you. And I remember all of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So you guys listen up. First of all, this is Nigel, and he's on Nigel Carr, and he's on Twitter. You can follow him on Twitter at Nigel Carr UK, and Carr is with 2 R's, so it's NIGELCARRUK. So follow him on Twitter. Check out Louder Than War. Let's crash their website. Go to www.louderthanwar.com and check that out. And we got to go because we got to go. We have another guest.
And Alice Cooper, if this gets back to you, let him interview you. He will revitalize your career.
He doesn't need that from us.
Well, no, but you'll get the dummies here that don't know who you are.
He actually sells LSD.
Brilliant.
I guarantee you in our travels, cross country, you ask some of those Texans that have hay up their ass.
Well, that's different. They don't listen to rock,
is.
but anybody who listens to rock.
You know what they'll say? Well, I know Gene Autry and Roy Rogers, how they sing.
All right, everybody. So check out Louder Than War. Nigel, we want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Good luck with everything. We're off our next one. Nigel.
Nigel, when you write about me, be kind.
Of course.
Had a blast. Thanks, Nigel.
Bye, Nigel.
Bye.
It was fun.
Bye.